don't even know where the water goes. It just never leaks. Where the fuck does it go?
I'm assuming it probably uses water as part of the cooling system, so...
Well, yeah.
It just probably pulls it in from the air, and then puts it in a tank in the bottom and reuses it, yeah.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Jacob not being here.
Welcome back to the Time Fuck!
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. I'm your host, Collin, with my co-host, Spencer, and our other co-host is not here.
He's missing in action.
Fucking delinquent.
Yeah, he's probably out making smart decisions, you know?
I thought you were going to say making out with someone. I'm like, definitely fucking not.
No, but he is making smart decisions.
Is he? Is he really?
It's Jacob.
I don't know. You'd be surprised when it's just me and him. But that's my bad influence.
He's safe with you. When he's out in the real world, he doesn't make dumb decisions. He likes to stay alive and safe. He's precautious.
Precautious. I hate that word.
Precocious.
Precautious. Why don't you say cautious?
Because it's...
Why is the pre?
Because instead of just, like... Cautious is current, it's like in the moment, but being precautious is like not even putting yourself in the situation. So if it's like, you be cautious walking on the rickety bridge, being precautious is like not going over the bridge at all and finding a safer route. So you avoid this situation entirely.
Well, that's whelming.
That is still one of the best jokes from the show. It is.
I love that they keep bringing it back, and even Superman did it. He's like, sorry, I was just hanging out with the kids. And he's hanging out with Nightwing.
I do really like that version of Superman. I
do.
He's a little off kilter, but I like it. He's nice. He's way more chill than.
What do you mean by off kilter?
It's mostly, I think, just because Young Justice is framed from other people's perspective, and Superman is only really becoming relevant again in like season 4 now or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Just the fact that his initial meeting with Superboy was like weird, and he was kind of a dick for a little bit. It's like he's very human.
I'm actually very okay with that because, like, first off, imagine like it's not his sperm, but it's his blood. But imagine your sperm was just fucking taken from you, and you're forced to have a kid. Imagine
that kid also being half of your archenemy.
Yeah, and that too. Imagine your archenemy taking your fucking dick and then making a new thing out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
It's not a hot archenemy either. It's a fucking bald ass bitch. Spencer.
Yes. I took Superman's sperm.
No, Jeff Bezos did, and he came out with fucking Homelander and Omni-Man.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, that,
I don't know. It's just a little. It just feels a little funny, but I like it. He's pretty chill vibes.
I like it that they came into him being like his brother.
Yeah. Instead
of like a son.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Especially because Superman wasn't that old at the time.
No. So they were like probably 10 years apart.
Yeah. Somewhere around that. Because Connor was mega super aged. He's got that clone blood.
Well, technically they're 30 years apart.
Technically.
But like mentally and physically,
it's like 10.
It's 10.
Yeah. Anywho's, so yes, we are not joined by Jacob. He is out making smart decisions, finding Superman's offspring. This week, we are discussing Wonder Woman Dead Earth, which is a 4-issue DC Black Label miniseries, which released in 2020. Written and arted by Daniel Warren Johnson, with colors by Mike Spicer. So we find Diana in a pod. She's a pod baby.
Pod baby!
She has been cryogenically frozen for millenniums or centuries or whatever, and she wakes up with very few memories on what the hell happened, and she wakes up in the apocalypse. It seems like that's every time the apocalypse happens, someone is sleeping. Someone's sleeping really good, and then they wake up and they're like, whoa, what the fuck? I
guess it's the easiest way just to jump into an apocalypse.
It makes it easier.
But it makes sense with this, especially with like you don't really know who the monsters are or what they are, where they came from, and that's the whole point of the story.
This is somewhat of a mystery. It's mostly apocalyptic tale, but it's also about Diana finding out why her memories are missing, what happened, how the Earth got this way. And it's not like it's the craziest mystery in the world, but I thought it was handled fairly well. The reveal, this is... All of the things we do include spoilers, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but we're fucking spoiler people.
Yes. But the fact that the Amazons have, like, turned into the weird Hedra monsters is
that was fucking
terrifying.
Awesome.
They're so disgusting. That was a good twist.
Mm-hmm. Dan Warren Johnson always fucking never pulling punches.
Nope, just like, we're gonna, that mommy, she's a big bug now.
Yeah, mommy, big bug.
Yeah.
Big fucking bug. Disgusting big mommy milker bug.
Yeah, so we find out that basically Diana caused the apocalypse inadvertently by punching Superman real good, and then they ignited the fucking atmosphere, which I just find that that's a really cool thing that a lot of like apocalypse stories don't usually deal with, is like, obviously we deal with like nukes and whatever, but the fact that it's like, yeah, you can set the atmosphere on fire with the right conditions is insane. So like the whole planet's been wiped. There's so few peoples. So she finds, the usual band of rebels, and they team up and whatnot. It's just a lot of, like, basically feudal politics, which I really enjoy. And then she tries to figure out what's going on. She goes back to Themyscira. She finds all of her sisters are now weird bug monsters, and they are very genocidal. She does a good punchy punch. That's about it. It's a very simple plot, and I really like it.
Kind of. I mean, we also don't know that Superman's been dead.
True.
And when they're on their way to the
Fortress of
Solitude. I had Solitude. I was like, Sanctum... What?
Nope.
Fortress of Solitude.
Wrong publisher.
Yep. Fortress of Solitude. We see that people were trying to get him to come back with, like, banners and stuff saying, come back, save us, and it's piles upon piles of bones and shit. Like, people are just out in the Arctic.
I really like how the book doesn't feel the need to address the death of most of the heroes. It addresses the Trinity, and that's really it. Like, it acknowledges that some of the other ones existed, but it's in such an offhanded way, whereas it doesn't...
It's not needed for the story.
It doesn't feel the need to make it feel like a Justice League book being led by Wonder Woman. It's a Wonder Woman book that happens to feature the Trinity very lightly in it. And I really appreciate that, because the other two in the Trinity kind of overshadow Wonder Woman pretty frequently, and the rest of the League always do. So
this isn't the book that got me into, like, actually enjoying Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like, no comic book has really gotten me to enjoy Wonder Woman, because she's always written poorly.
She's got a weird publication history.
Poor taste. It's like they don't give a shit about her. She's an asshole, or she's just like an object of sexual.
It's always really but like it's all over the place.
Like, the only time I've ever really enjoyed Wonder Woman was Zack Snyder's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but the director for Wonder Woman,
Patty
the first
Jenkins.
one. Yeah, I like how she wrote Wonder Woman as well.
Yeah.
And probably like the animated series version.
I mean, it's just kind of a thing with Wonder Woman in general that's really hard to balance, is the balance between the fact that she is kind of, like, she is the most optimistic in a sense between the rest of the Trinity. She's the most compassionate one. She is the most, like, openly affectionate person, but also she will kill a motherfucker.
Yeah, the whole point of her, and I feel like people forget, is that she's supposed to be that character that shows us that, like, she's supposed to be a character that helps get rid of sexism, you know?
Yeah.
But everyone either uses it as, like, oh, she's an object of desire for men, or, oh, she's a true feminist and she's going to kill every man, which is not feminism.
No, it's weird.
She is supposed to be like the true embodiment of what feminism is. Feminism is.
Yeah.
Which is also known as respecting people. Whoa, what a fucking concept.
Yeah.
And I think Daniel Warren Johnson does that very well with her. Because she shows a lot of love for people who really do not deserve it, like Cheetah.
Yeah.
Like, she brings Cheetah around and shit.
Yeah, that's one of the things with this book that I think really nails is, aside from just, Daniel Warren Johnson does not draw attractive people in general, pretty much ever.
Do A Powerbomb.
Pretty much
Mommy. Mommy.
For the most part, the general vibes on how he does his art is not to make people look attractive. It's mostly conveying action.
Oh, yeah.
And especially in this book, everyone looks like shit. Almost everyone is androgynous because once you get down to the point where everyone's beaten and bloodied, like, everyone looks the same, basically. And the fact that Wonder Woman still does seem uniquely feminine, but is also, like, she looks like an actual warrior. Mm-hmm. She's constantly covered in blood or dirt or entrails. Her hair is matted for most of the book.
I like how the Amazons are like that, too.
Yeah.
Even before the whole monster thing.
Yeah, it's a really nice... It actually portrays her as a warrior, but it gives her such a level of humanity, which a lot of other writers really struggle with Wonder Woman, and a lot of artists do as well, where she either seems like such a pinnacle of virtue, whereas, like, it's unapproachable. Like what boring people have with Superman when they're like, oh, he's just too big and powerful and too perfect. Like, Wonder Woman can fall into the same trap sometimes because she's just absolute, utter bombshell. She never interacts with people, and she's just, like, always on some weird high horse or whatever. Mm-hmm. But this is, like, she's down in the dirt doing the work and also is, like, openly affectionate with people as a blanket statement. It's her...
People turn her into, like, Queen Maeve half the time.
Yeah.
Season 1 Queen Maeve, where it's literally nothing. There's literally nothing to her.
Yeah, it's weird. Because especially since Wonder Woman has a really, really unique, like, real world origin. It's really weird how much the character has flip-flopped in the past, century. But it's just something that I genuinely don't know how he does it. But the combination of the writing and the presentation in the art, she seems so human. And not just because she's slightly depowered, but, like, as a person, she looks like a person you could walk up to. Mm-hmm. And just, I don't know. There's something about it that's incredibly, like, warm in a sense. I really, the most heavy metal thing that this book does, aside from all of it, is the fact that she uses Superman's spine as a weapon, which is the coolest thing.
I fucking love how he draws Superman. I like that he gives him the trunks.
Yes.
Instead of, like, underwear. Yeah, trunks. I love trunks.
Trunks are nice.
Trunks are very nice.
Just, I really did, I like the scene in the Fortress of Solitude where she goes to see if he's still there, and then she pays her final respects and is like, yeah, you're gonna be useful one more time, though. And she rips his skull and spine out to use because they're indestructible. Like, the fact that doesn't feel incredibly disrespectful or weird is a miracle. It's really nice. Batman's little send-off towards the beginning of the book was really nice. Just coming across Wayne Manor with him just, like, sitting on the couch. Who looked like... This is something I noticed on my first read. It kind of looks like Batman might have been laughing when he died, which is funny.
Scary.
A little bit. I mean... You know the apocalypse is coming any second now. You're about to die.
Batman activated the robot helper before he died, so... Yeah. In the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, I love that cover.
It's so good. I wish I got him to sign this.
I think this is one of my favorite books in terms of color by Mike Spicer. He's always phenomenal, but the amount of variety in this book, while it still has a very, like, distilled color palette, it still focuses really heavily on, like, orange and brown and, red, but the contrast between the world and then the Amazonian Hedra monsters being, like, green and purple, like classic comic book, draw the villains in secondary colors type stuff. Just, it conveys tone so well. It's such a vibrant book.
He's got purple gloves.
Yes, Batman has purple gloves.
Yeah! Fucking love the purple gloves. I don't fucking understand what it is. And there's so many people that like, oh, purple gloves. I'm like, you got no fucking personality.
This is true.
I don't know. I find Wonder Woman very attractive in this comic still.
Yes, but not in the traditional sense.
Not in, like, she's sexual. I just find her very attractive.
No, yeah, it's
like, oh, muscle mommy.
Yeah, it's more of a magnetism than it is, like, an attractiveness.
And it's not, like, She-Hulk muscle mommy. It's just, like... Oh, that's so fucking brutal. The spine, the skull, I just found the page. Oh, fuck. I forgot how metal...
Yeah.
He's Daniel's fucking metal when it comes to this shit.
I think this
And then she puts her lasso of truth in between all of it so it can stay together.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking
I
word.
think this is his most brutal book that I've read. I have not read Extremity yet. And some of his other work before that he did with some other. I think he did work with Donny Cates a while back. I don't remember. But I think this is his most violent book, and I'm so here for it. It feels like it actually takes advantage of its setting and the whole out of continuity Black Label bit, but it doesn't feel like gratuitous. It doesn't feel like it's a gore fest to be a gore. It feels like metal. It's like, yeah, it's gross and gory, but we're here to have a good time. We're not here to get like freaked out, you know? I really, really like this book.
I do too. I really like how Batman's the one that's sending out hope for this comic. Like he's the point that there's still, or he's the reason there's still like hope to the world.
Yeah.
And I love how that always happens to be Batman, because everyone's like, that's such a strange thing that I like it, but it's not really.
It's not strange.
It's just you forget that Batman's actually the one that.
It's part of his inherent like contradicting personality and goals. Like it's not like it's a canonical, quote unquote canonical thing. Like he's
hopeful
stupid.
for the world.
He's stupid,
but not for himself.
No, he's stupid.
You stupid.
They're not.
He knows he uses ineffective means to accomplish his goals, but because he imposes limitations on himself, like Wonder Woman, I don't remember which Justice League book this was in, but Wonder Woman multiple times like makes fun of him for having a no-kill rule. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know you can do it without becoming a mass murderer, right?
He does go but I think you might have stretched it with the laughing bit.
I don't know, man. Look at the skeleton.
Yeah, I've seen the skeleton, but most skeletons, when they're just laid out, they go, their jaws unhinged.
I don't know, man. Head cannon it. Man had a laughing fit before he died.
No.
Yes.
No. I could see it, but I don't believe it.
On the whole, I think this is one of the best Wonder Woman books I've read.
Oh, this is my favorite.
I can't, off the top of my head, recall anything I've enjoyed more, but that is also just because it's been a while since I've read any of the other ones. And this is, I think, my second favorite Daniel Warren Johnson graphic novel.
This is the only Wonder Woman comic I could actually get into.
One day I'll find you some good ones, I swear.
You won't. I know you won't.
I'm gonna do it.
Earth 1 was fucking terrible choice. It was just
sexual. Earth 1 was weird, man.
It was just like boobs, but we're not going to show you boobs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not into this.
Yeah, no.
But this was my favorite Daniel Warren Johnson comic until... it's so difficult to choose because we have Murder Falcon, we have Extremity, we have Dead Earth, we now have Do A Powerbomb.
Which I think is going to be an 8-issue, I think.
And then we also have... Shit, what else did he do?
Murder Burb.
I said Murder Falcon.
I think... So... they're all so good. The fact that all of his books are so close in quality that it's hard to pick is an absolute testament to the level of quality.
You know what he needs to do? More Evangelion shit, because he'd be so fucking good at that. He drew...
Yeah, he does.
A Titan. Wow. He drew an Ava, and that was really fucking good.
Yeah. I think Beta Ray Bill edges this one out by a tiny...
Oh, fuck! Beta Ray Bill!
Tiny
Holy
margin.
Shit!
Tiny margin. I think I have more things I don't like in Beta Ray Bill, but the stuff that works really well. So it's like Beta Ray Bill, Dead Earth, Murder Burb, and Do A Powerbomb. I don't know where it's gonna land.
Do we get a picture of he always does that inside the building pictures, and I'm trying to see if he does it in this one. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's there's the building, you can see
the side cutout with the multiple.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in here. There's no buildings in this book.
I know, but
I don't think so.
I think there's one.
He does do those.
Because that is one of his big things. Because he's done that in Beta Ray Bill. He's done that in Murder Falcon, I think, and he's done that in Extremity.
Nice. So speaking of Daniel Warren Johnson.
Because we're going to be talking about him a lot this podcast.
Yeah, it seems like it. So Do A Powerbomb issue 2 came out.
Fuck. So good.
Yes. So it's a lot of exposition about our bad guy and why he is all weird and stuff.
Okay, so is it just me, or does one of the photos where he's like,
I just love wrestling.
Like, what doesn't that look like? Yeah, that one doesn't that look like Daniel?
I don't know.
Can you see it just a little bit?
Maybe. I think you're reading into it.
No, I think he drew his face into that a little bit.
Maybe a little.
Because of what he says.
Maybe. So we continue to get that we have the actual inciting incident of this story of the proposition of this tournament in basically hell. We get some more drama between our lead, whose name I need to look up so I don't sound like a moron.
It's so funny, that whole like castle or whatever that guy's at, it looks just like the metal in Murder Falcon. You know, the giant anvil in the other world. It looks just the same. I love that. My headcanon is that it's in the same universe.
Oh, my word.
Because What's-His-Face is in it.
And then we find out that... the guy, Mr. Angry Wrestling Demon Satan guy...
Yeah.
What's his name? My God, I'm retarded.
I don't know any of their names.
I'm just really bad with names in comics.
Me too.
Evil Murder Satan Man.
Nice.
Doesn't know that wrestling's fake. And
I
like that not just as a joke, but also as like a really good setup for the like actual danger ahead. It's not just a wrestling match, like it's real. It's an actual fight. Because that was the thing with... That's my thing with wrestling. That's why I don't like it, is the fact that it's a theatrical production most of the time. I like watching, like, wrestling, but, like, WWE, WWF type stuff, like, I just don't, because it's mostly fake.
I don't like it because my problem with WWE and shit like that is that they're not theatrical enough. Because my favorite type of wrestling is where everyone's fucking wearing a mask.
Well, yeah.
Like the Mexican wrestlers. That shit, they know what they're doing.
Well,
okay?
yeah. I don't mean necessarily...
They need to be like a full-on story, superhero, supervillain. They have to have the mask. They have to have the mask.
The masks are fun.
The masks are amazing. That shit made me want to do wrestling. And you know what really wanted me to get into wrestling?
What?
Nacho Libre.
Oh my god.
That's what made me want to get into wrestling as a kid. It's like, oh, a mask and a cape and spandex, I can wrestle.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So then she needs to get a tag team partner for this fight. And the only person who is available is Cobra-san, who is the guy who killed her mother by accident years prior. And we get to see him have a fight where he gets fucked up. He gets stabbed with a fork, and he gets light bulbs busted on him. Whole thing. Really, really good fight. And then they agree to do the epic team-up and go to the place to go do the fight. And then we get this stinking frickin' twist at the end that it's her dad.
Her dad accidentally killed his wife.
What the actual fuck, dude?
No wonder he's so freaked out about her not doing any wrestling.
Yeah, understandable.
Because he did it. And he's still going for it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I like the fact that they emphasize that Cobra-san is like basically just letting himself get getting the crap kicked out of him because he feels bad about what he did and whatever.
Killing
like he's doing a self-imposed punishment. You know, like Daredevil. It's a bit of a Daredevil thing.
I need to get into the old Daredevil shit again.
Yes.
Some of that art is actually really fucking good.
Yes. I like how they emphasize that. And it makes sense with the first issue. Because, like, he dipped out before the match started to, like, go to work or something. And it's like, oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, wow.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you're an idiot. I don't think we're idiots. I think that's, like, that's a pretty normal thing, you know, where it's like, oh, dad has to go to work, whatever. Makes sense. It's a normal thing. but then you also have to think, okay, so I see Daniel Warren Johnson as, like, pretty progressive.
Yeah.
As in, like, we're not going to be held up like, oh, you're wrestling a dude, I have to be there to watch it. Just
like, give a shit. She's going to work.
Yeah, she's going to work. I'm going to work. Whatever. She's a grown-ass adult. I trust my wife.
My wife!
Literally just wrestling. And also, all of it is staged anyway. So, whatever. But, it does give a perfect opening for him to actually be the wrestler.
Yeah. So now there's so many other questions.
Because he also didn't freak out about the wrestler. We didn't see him yelling, we didn't see him trying to find the wrestler at all.
Yeah.
That wasn't a part of the plot line.
Yeah.
Because he is the wrestler.
That's such a... I think it's the wig that really threw me, because I thought that was real hair.
Me too.
Which makes sense that it's not, because that actually being real hair in real life would be a massive safety problem. But, like... So did they both know? Were they both in on it?
What? Oh.
Did she know that she was fighting her husband? There's so many questions now.
Yeah, that's so true. I didn't even think about to ask it. I just, like, accepted it. That's so true. Like, what if he doesn't trust her, and so he became a wrestler?
Weird.
That would be weird.
That would be weird. I don't know. I feel like that'd be a weird direction to take.
That would be a weird direction, but I'm just asking questions. Or does she know? Like, how bad would it be that she knew that her husband accidentally killed her?
Well, I mean, to be fair, she wouldn't know that he accidentally killed her because she would be dead.
Right, because you know what I mean?
Her final memory
I forgot that it was a snap.
Yeah, her final memory is him doing a fuck up and breaking her neck.
That's true.
That would be rough.
That was fast.
That
fucking hit me hard.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that wasn't the same wrestler on the cover of the first issue. I didn't even realize that.
You're
like,
a goober.
Well, I didn't look at it. It's just like, oh, different outfits, whatever. Because that happens.
The only thing that was, like, disorienting is then comparing how the dad is portrayed in the first issue, size-wise, is like, this dude is a fucking monster. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I need to go back and look at issue 1. Like, is he just framed in a way where you wouldn't notice?
I think it's framed.
It's probably, he's wearing a hoodie.
Find the first one real quick. Find me the first one, because I also think it's like, when we see him at first,
I think he's just
it's from the
in
eyes.
the crowd.
It's from the eyes of his child, too. So it's like his child's not.
The framing's all funny.
Yeah.
12 seconds later.
Yeah, he's only in it for a few panels before he dips. I think... So this one is the only one that's, like, really indicative of it. If you move the camera,
why are you paying attention to him when there's mommy right there?
Exactly.
I was only paying attention to
the
mommy.
leg meat is distracting.
Dude, snoo.
Yes.
Dude, I mean, Daniel, what the fuck? He needs a bonk bat.
Of course he does.
He's getting to a point he needs a bonk bat.
Yeah, he's only in it for like 5 panels. He does stand next to other... I think that's just... he does look like a normal-sized dude.
He does look like a normal dude.
Whatever. This comic has magic in it. So, big epic twist. I am stupidly excited for the next issue now.
So I've been stupidly excited since the first one. And then it got to the second one, I'm like, what the fuck? I need more. So then I went out and I bought Extremity.
Oh, you're such a dweeb.
I am a dweeb. I just need more Daniel Warren Johnson because, I don't know, it's just really fucking good art.
Very.
It's always such good art, and it's such, like, emotional stories.
Yeah.
Like, Beta Ray Bill, that story is about trying to find beauty in yourself and being unable to.
It's also about a horse cock.
I fucking hate you. And
I had a conversation with Kyle about that. That was funny.
Oh my fucking
Lord. A while back when
Sif can't handle horse cock, huh?
That's basically what I said.
Well, I mean, you're right. She can't handle horse cock. She's a fucking...
Oh my gosh. Okay, tell me about Extremity.
Okay, so I read the first volume of Extremity, titled Artist. And Extremity is about this world that's like... It's an apocalypse, of course.
Oh, of course.
And, we are in this area called the Rising Plains, and there's the, all these floating islands, like the island of Roto, which is the clan of our main characters, the Arched Islands, which is where the Arched Island is where like graves are. So the Roto clan has this thing where they don't have gravestones, they have grave arches. So like when you go through them, you carry a piece of your like loved ones with you.
Interesting.
Which is nice concept. I like that. I would actually put that in real life.
Huh.
But there's also this like underneath world area where it's like the old world and whatever, and all the old technology's down there. None of the rich go down there or whatever. There's like rich people and whatever. But we follow our main characters. Shit, I can't remember. So far we have 2 clans. There's Roto, and then I forget what the other one is. But they have like all the Roto clan have this like rectangular red rectangle tattoo on their left eye, and the other clan has a green circle on their left eye.
Whoa.
And
circle.
So it's like how you can tell the difference between bad guys and good guys, I guess. But
wait until the series is over, and it turns out that the good guys are the bad guys.
Oh,
I'm calling it now.
You can already tell in the first like 5 pages. So we follow the Roto clan, and we follow the daughter, son, and
Holy Ghost?
Holy Spirit. The father, son, and the daughter. And the daughter's our main character. She, what happened was their clan got attacked by that other clan, the Circle clan, and they killed her mother. They took their home, and they chopped off the daughter's right arm.
Jeez.
Because she's an artist.
Oof.
But she was like the best artist of the clan, whatever. And the clan mother of the other clan, the Circle clan, was getting back at the father because something happened where her daughter got into an accident and her beauty was gone, stripped of her. Like, her nose is fucking gone, she's burned and scratched up in the face. Oof. And so the mother's furious about that, and she's like, you took the one good thing away from my daughter. And... oh, can you switch the second cover to turn around?
Why?
Because it's good for the spines and for the books.
You're weird.
No, it's good stuff. And shit, it's so difficult without their names. So we're gonna. Oh, Nim. I know that the queen's name is Nim of the other clan, not the Roto clan.
They're circles.
Yeah. So basically, what she did was she killed the wife, and she also like cut off the daughter's right arm because she's like because her dad was involved with the accident somehow. So she's like, because you took away the best quality of my daughter, I'll do the same to yours, and took away her her ability to draw. And this is like obviously greatly affects her because she's like, I haven't been able to. I'm not really good at anything except for drawing. But after that, she's really fucking good at murdering shit.
Nice.
Because she has this giant robot arm that has like a blade that comes right out, and it's also a gun and shit. And she tries to, or it's her right arm, and she tries to draw with it, but then she just ends up drawing with her left hand, which it isn't bad. It isn't bad actually. Her stuff with her left hand is really good, but it's not the same as it was before. And so now what it is they're tracking down the Roto clan is tracking down all the people that were involved with killing his wife and doing what they did to his daughter. And so they find this first guy who's this fat fuck who plays this violin. And during this whole event, there was like 1, 2, 3, 4 people that were really like a part of this main part where they cut off her arm and killed the wife.
Yeah.
There was the queen who did it herself. There's a fat fuck who was playing violin, and I think he did something else. And then there's this other guy who was kind of like a contractor. Like he was stuck being a slave for another 3 years, so he had to do what Nim said. And then there's this other guy who's a hunter who held the daughter down.
Oof.
Yeah. So they found the fat fuck.
So revenge quest, got it.
Yep, a revenge quest. And the father's the one that's leading it, and the son kind of doesn't want to just kill people to kill people.
It's almost like vengeance is cringe.
It is cringe. But what happens is they find the fat fuck, and he gets chained to this stump, and the father starts taking out his teeth and adding it to his mask. He's got like this giant teeth mask, and it's fucked. Because he's like, you gotta set an example. You have to show everyone your reputation. It's about reputation, you know?
Nice.
And it's especially about reputation since they have this lady that they go to who gives him a title. And if you ever forget who you are, you know your name, which is this title. He is provider or protector. And the daughter was given the name artist.
Wow.
Yep. So you know who you are and what you do for the clan. And so, since the son is supposed to be the next, like, I think they call him Abba. The next Abba, who's the clan leader, he's making his son cut off the hands of this fat fuck. But he can't do it. And then he's like, don't make me do it. And then, the son's name is Rollo. And then the daughter comes up and she's like, don't worry, let me. So she takes up the knife and she just starts slowly hacking away at his hands. And it goes, right in front of everyone. It's just like...
That's nice.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, he was just playing the violin while she was getting her hand cut off.
Weird.
And so then they left him for dead on this floating little island that says, we're coming for the rest of you. He's like bleeding out and shit. But yeah, this whole thing so far is that they're just trying to find the rest of them. Steal what not steal their belongings, but steal the things that mean the most to them. Burn them, destroy them, whatever. And eventually they're going for the queen.
Whoa.
It's fucking awesome. The colors are amazing, of course, because Mike Spicer literally does every fucking book somehow. He's on every book I see.
Yes.
It's killing me. I don't understand.
It's called being good.
I guess you can get more done with coloring than you can drawing.
Probably.
You definitely can. I just fucking suck at coloring.
Hee hee.
Mike Spicer, if you're listening, I know you're not. Color my book.
Oh my goodness.
For free.
Oh, yeah. So I read Arkham Asylum Madness. It is written and penciled by Sam Keith. It is a slice of life book taken primarily from the perspective of a nurse that works in Arkham, as well as some of the other people, like the orderlies, the security staff, and the doctors. So it's a full 24 hours in Arkham. It starts out with her getting dropped off at work. Then we go through her normal shift, and then it turns out that she has to pull a double because they're low staff. I know, Arkham is low on staff. What a surprise.
Whoa, what a shocker.
I know, right? So she gets recruited for a double, and just all sorts of things ensue during this shift. It's a bunch of shenanigans, mostly. People getting into fights, the security guards fucking the nurses fucking the doctors.
Nice. So just like
it's
normal.
Mostly workplace drama.
With
the sprinkling of Arkham stuff on it. So throughout the book, there's sprinklings of hints about what big surprise. What's Joker up to?
Whoa, what's Joker up to? No, it's not like anyone cares or anything.
So there's stories about other employees that he's killed. Like there's a water basin in it's outside of the property now, but it used to be inside like the yard. And he drowned a guard in there. The whole thing. Basically, the second half of the book is where all the really crazy shenanigans happen. Joker kills people or tortures them or whatever in ways specific to them. Something that I thought was really cool was Joker gets like basically not shipments, but like he gets like antique like gag gifts. So like one of the most relevant ones is like a bar of soap, but when you put water on it, it looks like blood. Like silly things like that. So there's like old vintage boxes and old playing cards and stuff, which I thought was nice. Just a good vibe.
Very Joker-like.
It's a very nice vibe. one of the people, he cut off their leg and then varnished it, and then people throw it around the facility because they think it's like a fake leg. It's so fucked. He has a really tall room with one light bulb in it, of course, and he manages to jump up there, smash the light bulb, and then he eats it. So he can he gets all fucked up. So they have to take him to the the med bay, and then he spits the pieces of glass out and puts them in the head doctor's lunch because it's right next to the staff room. So it's a really funny.
Whoa!
This
is cool. Okay,
it's a really funny swallow joke. So it's like, I don't remember exactly how the joke goes, but it's like, I chew them out and then put them somewhere else. You swallow them. Because the lead doctor's been having digestive problems lately, and he's wondering why. It's like, yeah, I've snuck in and busted up light bulbs in your tuna sandwiches for a month or whatever. It's really funny. Other inmates that we see are Harley, Croc, who is huge. He has his own tank, which is at the top of the building, which makes no sense.
That is not structurally sound.
And that's part of the book, is the building's not structurally sound at all. And then the book ends with the building basically collapsing. The tank gets busted open and the whole building gets flooded. Croc has a contraption on his mouth that makes it so he can eat, but he can't once he goes above water to because they have to hand him food or whatever. So when he goes above water, somehow science, the pressure of the machine keeps his jaws open, but when he goes below water, then he can actually eat the food, so that he doesn't bite off their limbs.
Oh, right. So he has to bring it down underwater to eat it.
Yeah. There's a scene where one of the security guards is trying to screw one of the nurses, but she's new, I think, and is like, "What's this room?" And it's Croc's room. It's a big dark room with this massive 30-foot tall tank. Really fucked.
Arkham Asylum madness?
Yes. Hold on, let me finish though. The tone is really weird. It's eclectic. The thing is, most of the dialogue is pretty rough, and most of the art is ass.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah. There are some designs and some panels which are really good. The thing is, Sam Keith switches between a bunch of different styles of caricatures. Sometimes it's pastel, Saturday morning cartoon type designs. And then some of them, when he gets really detailed with pencils and inks, and I think charcoal, maybe, he has some really cool designs sometimes, around Croc. And some panels of Joker are actually really cool. But the way he draws the majority of people,
it's ass.
Yeah, it's really inconsistent, and that's the biggest problem. It just, every once in a while, there's a really cool panel. I'm like, that's cool. There's a few really interesting ideas. The clock bleeds. Their big clock up on this big tall wall in the main staff area bleeds. And people think they're going crazy. Turns out a rat got stuck in it. But there's this, it's one of the few books I've read where they do nail the fact that the facility has its own persona. It does bleed into the employees. It does affect them mentally. It affects the patients just like it affects the staff, and it's its own character. And I like that. I really like the concept. I'm a sucker for Arkham Asylum anything.
Yes, we know.
Yeah. So
fucking slut.
I bought this at Bull Moose for $6 used. For $6, I was fine buying it. It was a 30-minute read. It's pretty small. I believe it was just a large one shot. It's 80 pages or something. If it's under $10, it's worth looking at least. It's worth perusing through, borrowing it and just being flip through it. Maybe sit down and read it. And that was the thing, was when I was reading it, there were some moments I was like, that's really cool. And then the next one was these people look horrible. And I really hate trashing on artists, but holy
I love trashing on artists.
Yeah, we know, Collin.
They need it. They need it.
It just...
Fuck.
It's a little more disappointing. But I'd never heard of this before. I just randomly found it on a shelf, and I was like, oh, $6 for a used book? Oh, yeah. So, for that, it was fine, but definitely not worth more than a few bucks. What else have you been doing?
I started watching Shameless on Netflix.
I know the name, but I know nothing about it. Please explain.
So basically, it's about this family that's in Chicago who fend for themselves, basically. It's the kids of Frank and Monica. Monica left when they were younger, and Frank's an alcoholic piece of shit. And their child...
Default male status, to be fair.
Yes. The oldest, which is Fiona, who takes care of all of them. Then we got Lip, short for Philip. We got Ian, Debbie, Carl, and Liam. So, basically the older three and some of the younger they all pitch in for, like, rent and stuff like that, so they all have to, like, figure out, like, certain jobs or, like, steal money or whatever. And it's just about their life in Chicago and doing all this shit. And it's really fun, and there's a lot of really good emotions. My favorite character is, like, Fiona and Lip. Fiona, because she's hot, but not, like, hot as in, like, supermodel hot, but, like, I don't know how to explain it. But she's a hood girl. They're all hood, because they're on the south side of Chicago. And
this show went for, like, 11 seasons.
Yeah.
I knew the name from somewhere.
I'm on season 2 right now. It's really fucking good. What's his face? Ian is played by the guy that played Cal Kestis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like his first, like, show.
Dang.
There's a lot of boobs, which is awesome. A lot of boobs constantly being shown.
Oh, my word.
But the story just between characters is really nice. It's kind of like there's a problem, and then they solve it by the end of the episode. At least it's like that for the first season.
So it looks like it's framed as like it's a comedy drama.
Yeah, but it's like a good one.
Nice.
It's not like a boring one, and it's not like an awkward one. It's like actually like there's times where what? Let me see.
She was born in 86.
Fiona.
Yeah. So she would have been playing however old at like
that character.
20. She would have.
The character's 21.
Oh, okay.
In the show.
Okay, yeah, she would have.
So
been
it goes
25.
like 21 at the beginning of the show. She's 21. Lip's 17. Ian is like 16.
Jeez.
Carl's 10.
Coral.
Debbie's 10 or 9 or 11, and then Liam's 2.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting.
And so right now they're figuring out. There's so much fucked up shit that happens, especially between Karen, Karen's Lip's like girlfriend, but they're not exclusive. There's this whole ordeal that happens in the first season where her dad is trying to like get her to repurify herself and whatever, because he's a fucking freaky Christian dude.
Oh boy.
Who's like, you're a horror in the eyes of God, and it's like
we're gonna burn the sperm out of you.
Pretty much, and it's like a purification for like daughters and fathers.
Because that's not really fucked up, weird grooming
and then,
shit.
And then the mom's like, well, are there things for like boys for this? And he's like, why would there be?
Well, of course not.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot how awful he is. And basically what happens was, so Lip starts dating her. I'll talk about this part of the story because this is so funny to me. So Lip starts like tutoring her about physics and stuff like that because he's a fucking genius. And so the Karen goes under the table and starts giving him a blowjob.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And he's like, whoa, what are we doing? And she's like, science just makes me horny. And he's like, whatever. And then he finds out that Ian's gay later on. And he's like, you know what? No, come with me. We're gonna actually tell if you're gay or not.
Oh my gosh.
And so he brings him over to Karen's house so she can give him a blowjob. And he's like, well, what happened? And she's like, have you ever tried playing pool with a noodle? Because he's gay. He doesn't like women. And
wow.
But her dad comes home and is like trying to find Karen, and he sees her under the table. He's like, oh, what's she hiding for? And he lifts up the curtains, and she's comes out, and she's like wiping stuff off her.
Oh my gosh.
And so he like throws the table, and then they're running away. So there's that. Eddie leaves the house. Frank somehow winds up living with them and starting dating Sheila, their the mom, Karen's mom.
Oh my word.
This whole thing, and Karen's trying to seduce Frank to get back at her dad, and it's just Karen's a fucked up character. And after the purity ball and all that, because she finally gets convinced to go, because her dad said she'd give her a car, and basically what happened was you have to like explain what happened to you and whatever, like what you've done, and you want to re-purify. So she goes through the whole fucking list because all these other girls have just like had sex once or like.
Oh my gosh.
This guy told me to touch his penis or I'd get hit with a pipe, and then the dad's like, Father, why must this happen to me? And she's like, I'm gonna get hit by a pipe. She's gonna get literally beat the shit out of. It's like, these dads are fucking awful. They literally don't care. So
we know people like that.
Yeah, I know so many people like that.
Yeah.
The son can be a whore, but the daughter can't. Ooh.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But Karen goes through the whole list, and Eddie's getting embarrassed and angry, and he stands up and he calls her a whore. And he's like, whores don't get cars.
Wow.
And I'm like, what the fuck? So she trashes his whole like little because he moved back in but into the basement, so he trashes her whole basement and whatever, and she starts this like cam girl stuff.
Oh my gosh.
She starts like dyeing her hair black, and she has a whore tattoo on her forearm, and she eventually sleeps with Frank while he's drunk.
Oh, that's nice.
But everyone's blaming Frank, but Frank
nice
is
rapey.
literally fucking drunk.
That's yikesy.
Yeah, but everyone blames Frank. Which is stupid.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. It's easy to blame him. He's an alcoholic dipshit who never pays anyone back and all that, and he's just a shithead. But then Lip finds out eventually, and he tries running over his dad with a car and beats the shit out of his dad.
Jeez.
Lip beats the shit out of his dad a lot because his dad also... Oh, when Eddie found him first, he found his dad, he found Frank, and he headbutted him. He's like, tell your son Ian to keep his prick out of my Karen. And so, when Frank got home, when he was still living with his kids, he headbutted Ian in the face.
Oof.
And Lip almost knocked him out.
Interesting.
He's knocked him out like, I don't know, 5 times in the show.
See, I need one question answered before I watch this show. Mm-hmm. Is there a laugh track?
No, yes! Thank God. I wouldn't be watching.
You never know.
It's like, it's not like a set. Well, I mean, it's a set, but it's not like a one perspective set.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all around. It's really nice. It's got good camera work, and it's just normal. Also, we don't get to see high school drama.
Oh,
like,
thank God.
We see them in high school sometimes, but it's usually they're talking about shit that's happening outside of high school. Like, it's just about their normal life besides high school. There's moments where it's about high school, but, like, only very short times where, like, once Lip was asked a question, and like he's trying to like drop out of high school because he got Karen knocked up, or Karen's knocked up, but we don't know who the dad is.
Oh my gosh!
And so he's trying to get out of high school so he could get a job and provide for his son, or his son, because he doesn't want to end up like Frank. So basically, he got expelled because he told one of the teachers to f off. Because he was asking him a question, and he's like, "No, really f off," and he took the chair and he threw it into the window and left.
So what I'm getting here is Ian is the most normal-based one of them all.
Oh wait, no, sorry, this is Lip.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Ian doesn't do anything stupid, and it's just...
No, that's not entirely true.
Well, you haven't mentioned anything.
Because I've mentioned the stuff I've been noticing the most. Because Ian works at this place called Cash and Grab, where it's run by Cash and his white Muslim wife.
That's a name?
Yup.
Interesting.
Yup. And he's secretly gay, and he doesn't want his wife to know.
Oh,
and
boy.
And they're fucking. But Ian's fucking him.
Jeez, I did not see that one coming.
Yeah. Ian's fucking him, though.
Oh, goodness.
And eventually his wife finds out, because she puts cameras up in the store, and they turn the camera away, because they found, like, a point where they can make, like, the Bermuda Triangle, they called it. But then the camera's not, like, set correctly, so it went and tilted down at them. And she's like, "Oh, check this out." And she's like, "Yeah, looks like it's a big dick from the expression on your face."
Oh my gosh.
Because they usually just do it in like the ice cooler.
Oh boy.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of fucking in this
There's
show.
a lot. Yeah.
That's why you're watching it.
Yes. There's a lot of storylines, because there's Fiona with her love life. There's Lip. There's Frank. There's Ian with his whole shit, because he's trying to still be secretly gay, because he's starting to... So there's this girl that really liked him because the teacher that had a massive boner kept creeping around her.
Oh.
So he tripped the teacher.
Nice.
Yep. And so she was falling in love with him and went over to the cash and grab and was trying to see him. Like, right before she went over, she's wearing a thong and a skirt. So she, like, hikes her thong up so you can see whale tail.
Oh, my gosh.
I like her. But then she goes over... Her name's, like, Mandy or something. And so she's trying to get him going. And... Eventually, they end up at her house, and they're just hanging out, and then she tries making out with him, and he's like, no, and then she cries and runs away, whatever, and so she tells her brothers that he did bad things to her.
Oh, boy.
And so then they're trying to kill him, literally kill him, the whole, a couple episodes, and then he finally tells Mandy, I'm gay. And she's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, and she's like, I just thought you thought I was ugly, and he's like, you're very beautiful, it's just, I'm not wired that way. Then he grabs her boob and puts her hand on his dick, and he's like, see?
Oh my gosh.
Squishy. So then they become like fake girlfriend, fake boyfriend.
Ah, yes, for appearances.
And then he starts fucking her brother that was going to kill him.
Oof. Alrighty then. Alright, how far are you into this show?
Season 2. Yeah, there's so much shit you have to watch. It's actually so good.
I will get to it when I wrap up the show I'm currently watching.
It is so much fun because also there's so many seasons.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. I love the show. It makes me feel at home and normal.
Okay then.
Isn't that fucked up?
That's a little weird.
I don't know. It makes me feel at home and normal. I love that show.
All right.
Lots of boobs. Fiona's boobs especially.
Oh my gosh.
I like Fiona a lot.
I can tell.
Where's Jacob with the bunk bat?
Oh boy, you have no idea. If he takes the time to edit, that he's gonna put in so many. If he has time, he's gonna go crazy.
Nope.
So I read Deadpool Killustrated, which is a sequel to Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe? What? That's so cool!
So, in the previous book, Deadpool kills everyone. He gains full cognizance of the fact that he is in a book. Not just a little bit of fourth wall breakage, like 100% fourth wall breakage. And then this book is him breaking out of his universe and going into other universes, and he keeps trying to kill every hero that's ever existed because he wants to free them from their mortal binds of being bound to a comic book. Yeah. But he can't. There's always more. He's running out of people, and it's not changing anything. So he gets a bunch of villains together to make a machine that sends him into effectively like a library, kind of. So he goes into other stories to kill the predecessors of these characters. So he, is killing like fucking Captain Ahab and like just all sorts of characters from like historical literature and stuff that inspired a lot of superheroes. So he's going through and doing all of that. It works sort of partially through the story. Sherlock Holmes starts noticing that things are happening, and he gets together his own team of strange folks from various literary things to defend it's weird. It's weird. I don't even know what it is, but it's a thing. They gotta make sure he stops. They gotta kill Deadpool so Deadpool stops killing them, because like it's basically grandfather paradoxing type stuff, or like killing the abstract idea of something. So like if you kill Darkseid, like real Darkseid, not just a Darkseid, but like Darkseid, then evil ceases to exist, because Darkseid is evil. If it's like that with other things, you're going back further to get rid of the thing that inspired the character.
Okay.
Which was, I thought, a pretty cool...
So they have to go kill Slade Wilson?
No, sadly. That would have been cool. No, so they go back in, they're killing, it's historical book. So we see him killing, like, Tom Sawyer, and, like, it's really weird. I
love that.
I thought the idea was pretty cool. The art was a good bump up from the previous book. So this is written by Collin Bunn with pencils by Matteo Lolli.
Who does the coloring?
I didn't notice. Kiss my nuts. So it's a different artist than the previous book. And I thought it was a nice step up. Nothing stupendous, but it was nice. Very vibrant coloring. I wish that the issues were a little bit tidier. So it's a 4-issue story. And each one covers, at least the cover, acts like it's, this is the one where he goes and kills the white whale, Mm-hmm. And it's only like the first 2 pages. The rest of the issue is him in various other stories. It's really... That's a personal preference of mine. I like it when things are structured a lot more cleanly. Sherlock Holmes was really funny. Just him hearing Sherlock Holmes talking about like the abstracta of characters and the I don't remember what the term it was, but basically what they're using for like the universe of characters made by like it's like the collective consciousness. Basically, it's so weird.
Collective consciousness.
Sometimes when he kills characters, or the more amount of characters he kills that inspired other, heroes or whatever from his universe, the more fucked up the world gets. Stuff starts falling apart. You get characters that merge together. They sometimes phase in and out.
What about Spider-Man?
He's killed many Spider-Men. I don't recall a specific predecessor for Spider-Man. It's pretty loosey-goosey with stuff. It's basically, he goes through classic literature, which inspires some characters. The action was really brief. I wish that there was more of it. It basically every issue would like open up with him in a fight and then he's wrapping it up, but such is life.
So like a cold open?
Kind of, just too many of them, but whatever. The coolest part was, so you know how Deadpool has two voices in his head, right? Mm-hmm. There's a long story for how that happens. We don't need to get into that. But
I do want to know about that though.
There's a really good YouTube video about that actually. I will link it. I will link it.
Thank you.
It's very short too.
Thank you, Father.
Yes. It's by NerdSync. I will link it on the YouTube video as well. Jacob, leave this in. So he kills Frankenstein, and then he uses Frankenstein's monster, and he puts part of his own brain in it. So his voices get separated. So he has another version of kind of himself that's inside Frankenstein's monster.
Oh.
Who runs around with him. It's really funny.
What is Frankenstein's monster's name? He has a name. He gave himself a name, right?
I don't remember. I don't.
Norgal. It's not Norgal.
No, I don't remember. So, yeah, I liked it. I wish it was longer. It ends basically with Sherlock Holmes trying to remember Moby Dick, pretty much. Like Deadpool's like, hey, I'm winning, woohoo, whatever. And then Sherlock Holmes is like trying to remember these characters that he knows. Sherlock Holmes hypothetically would have read these other books from like 100 years prior, and he's having trouble like remembering them because they're not there anymore. If you destroy all copies of The Lord of the Rings, does The Lord of the Rings still exist?
Yes.
Yes, but
no.
Eventually it might not. It's a weird, it's collective memory type stuff. So I just wish this thing was longer. It was cool. I liked it. That's about it, honestly. It took me like 20 minutes to read. I bought it for $6 at Stairway to Heaven, used. It's worth near cover price, which is like $15. Definitely worth a loan, You can read it in 20 minutes. You can read it in like one big poop.
I like how you read things with poop. I don't read things when I poop. I only read on my phone. I'm just scared that the book's gonna get wet somehow.
But you'll take your phone in there.
Yeah,
that's weird.
No,
that's a little weird.
No, I think it's because there's more surface area with the book.
I guess
that scares me. Where this has a literal protective case.
To be fair, your fat dumpy takes up the whole seat, so there's no way you're dropping a book in the bathroom, inside the toilet.
No, I just don't trust anything. What if I get poop on my fingies?
Oh my gosh. Okay, what else have you been doing? Anything?
Shit, give me a second. I think there is. I could swear there's another book I was fucking reading.
I believe in you.
Oh, let me look. Fuck. I feel like there's a book I did read, and I just didn't talk about it last week. Fuck, what was it? Oh. Their Darkest Designs. Give it to me.
Oh! Fuck yeah, dude!
Yeah, I read that.
Fuck yeah, dude!
Yeah, I read that.
Let's go!
That's why I got the second one.
Nice.
So I read Batman, Their Dark Designs, which is written by James Tynion IV, with pencils Gilliam March, and I think colors are Tomeo Mori. I think those are colors. I'm just looking at the front page, or the cover. Yeah, I got it right. I knew it. Yeah. That's usually the order. It goes writer, artist, colorist. Okay, so. I
talked about this so long ago.
Basically, this whole book is about way back in time in Gotham City when the Major Four were becoming the Major Four, which is Wonder Woman, the Riddler.
You said Wonder Woman.
Wow. Catwoman, Joker, the Riddler, and the Penguin.
Penguin.
Those 4 are like the major 4 of the underworld, which I like that because that makes me feel like that's a nod back to the Adam West Batman.
Yeah, it's like a Silver Age type. Yeah,
I love that because they really are in my mind.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, this is a skip. I'm skipping forward into the book just to explain it. They are brought together by this character called the Designer, who used to be like one of the original biggest bads who fought one of the original best detectives in the world and figure out a way to stumble the detective finally. Because the detective, after years, probably almost like 30 years, I think he was saying, kept defeating him. And eventually figured out, he's locked himself up for like 2 months. Locked himself up for like 2 months, or maybe like a year, or I don't know. It was a very long time he locked himself up to hatch the best plan to defeat the detective. And he did. And we don't know what it is. But he gets together with the Big Four, and he helps them hatch a plan to to successfully bring their plan into fruition with like money and planning. So it starts out with the Joker, the Penguin, and then it goes to the Riddler, and then it goes to the Joker. So with that being in mind, we start out with Batman hunting down assassins that are in Gotham, and they're after him.
Ooh.
But this is the Penguin's plan to get control of Gotham, because Penguin wants to be the king of everything.
Yes.
And so Batman has to figure out how to stop these guys without also like getting Penguin's plan. How do I say this? He has to figure out how to stop these guys, but also stop the Designer, because he realizes that through the Penguin that the Designer came back to steal their and is using their plans against them.
Yeah.
And so we start out with Penguin's plan, and Penguin's trying to help, but he got sent to the hospital because he got fucking all cut up and shit. And so as we go through that, let's see. Catwoman is off trying to figure out how to stop the rest because she's also a part of all of this. The Riddler's in this. They're all in on it.
I really, just to butt in, I really liked how this book emphasized that, not really emphasized, it leaned into the fact that, like, Riddler and Penguin can be swayed sometimes in the right circumstances. Like, they're still irredeemable pieces of garbage, but, like, sometimes they can do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And I really like that. It also contrasted early Catwoman with current Catwoman, where she used to be, like, way more bad. And now she's, like, basically just MILF.
Yep. Oh, she is such a fucking MILF. I mean, look at that. Look at that hand on that head. Oh, fuck. The art's so gorgeous. So, basically what we know is that the Designer has come back to reuse their plans against Batman. But we figure out the reason why he's doing it and not them is because he had a meeting with the Joker, the very last of all of them, and he was like, kill them all! Because the Joker is, like, the worst person fucking ever, and he realizes that he's going to destroy, like, everything. Yeah. And so he wants to kill him, but the Joker kills the Designer. The Designer's
That was
dead.
Such a good twist. Mm-hmm. I genuinely, like, shit myself.
I'm sorry, this is the best Catwoman costume. Literally the purple.
It's a good one.
Yeah, her boobs look huge in the old ones.
The art is just so gorgeous.
It is so gorgeous.
The designs are really good.
They are very good. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at her boobs. And we find out that Joker's the Designer, the new Designer. But one thing that I love that actually helped me understand what's going on, because like I didn't really understand what was going on until Joker explained it to me with a little story.
It was a nice exposition.
And it goes like this, because I'm going to say it, because it's really nice. So, he goes, now I bet you think you have a good idea of what's happening. You think you've heard the truth, but the people telling the story don't know the truth. I do, and I'm here to tell you it. Once upon a time, 4 crooks walked into a haunted house to have dinner with the devil. The devil was pleased with each of them for the mighty sins they have committed, and he wanted to give them each a bone. And so the devil sat down with them one by one and asked them what they wanted more than anything in the world. The first crook was a fat old bird, and he said that he wanted to be king, for all to follow his command. And so the devil gave him the numbers of the finest killers in the land so that he could take down the nation's rulers and install ones who would be loyal to him. The second crook was a mad, crooked man, who said he wanted to be the wisest man in all the kingdom. So the devil gave him a crooked game to play with the greatest scholars in the kingdom, which would kill each of them in turn, until he was the only wise man left. The third crook was a thieving cat, and she wanted to be the richest person in the kingdom. And so he gave her the keys to the vaults of all the richest men in the city, so he could rob them all blind, so she'd have all the diamonds to herself. And then the fourth crook was a jester, and see, he'd been laughing all this time because he alone understood the devil's game. With no wise, powerful, or wealthy men left to stop him, the city wouldn't belong to the 3 crooks at all. It would belong to the devil himself. In time, it was Jester's turn, and the devil asked what he wanted more than anything in the world. And the jester said to him, "I want to be the devil." And then he killed him. I fucking love that shit because I am such a little slut for little like stories simplified into like Jester and the devil, like a bad guy is called the devil.
Yeah.
And all these other little guys are like, I want to be king of everything. I want to be the wisest man. I want to be the richest. It's like simplified.
Yeah.
But it's like clever and it's almost like an Arthurian. No, what's the word? Arthur. It's like an Arthur story. Like stories.
Arthurian.
So I was right. Okay, so it's like an Arthurian story.
Kind of.
Or it's kind of like those where it's just simplified and it's got these little tidbits, and I really like that.
Dude, I remember.
It's so funny. It took Joker to explain it for me to understand.
Yeah. The thing with that I really like. So I read this right when we went into lockdown a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I picked up this and the next book, and I was having the time of my life reading these because I wasn't working. I was just chilling at home, and I was just sending you guys like screenshots of like how gorgeous the art was, and was like, you guys need to read this stuff. It's so good. And then I've been waiting for so long.
The Riddler looks so fucking shitty. He's locked himself up and he's starving to death pretty much.
This book and the next book, the thing which makes me think the reason why they weren't super popular, like they were popular enough, but like they weren't like critically acclaimed or anything, is because people are jokered out. And I get that. I'm also jokered out. But if you give the book a chance, it uses all the other villains really well, and it's a really well-developed Joker story. If you look at the whole thing, it nails the balance between, like, absolute fucking insanity, just the most decrepit, monstrous creature alive, but also, like, really, really smart, very tactical dude. He just dresses it up in his goofy gooberness.
Oh, yeah, he does.
And so good. Anyways, please continue.
So, this, by the end of the story, because basically it's just all this shit. All the whole plans are being unraveled. It's Penguin's plan of all the assassins, Riddler's giant riddle game, Catwoman with the stealing of the money, and then Joker's wants to be the devil. So the next one's Catwoman. And so Catwoman's trying to get it, so like she finds the broker, who's this big guy or whatever that's in like the sewers, and it's like this whole broker thing where you bring in money and whatever and saves it and then puts in funds and whatever, and you get money.
He's the money guy for all the bad guys.
He's the money guy for all the bad guys. And so what happens is she's trying to either get the money from Bruce because he told her to, or like I can't remember, but it's something to do with money, Bruce's money. And eventually, Joker did a double whammy on her and got all Bruce's money sent to him. So he has all of Bruce's money, and Bruce Wayne's broke now. And the house is getting taken.
He's still broke to this. Okay, broke for Bruce Wayne standards to this day. Yeah, it's been like 2 or 3 years since that book came out. 2 or 3 years. He's still poor. This is like after Alfred's dead. He's just taking L after L, man.
Yeah. And the whole point of this book is like he thinks he's trying to like create a Gotham that Alfred thought Bruce was intending to do, because he kept drawing these like little Gotham drawings that Alfred called his little Gotham. But what it was he was studying the whole city, and he was seeing how gross it was and whatever. And he even eventually found the detective that the designer ruined. And so apparently the detective knew that he was following him this entire time and had little sketches of Bruce Wayne's little city in one room. And Bruce is like, you need to teach me. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. He's like, yes, you need to teach me. He's like, you know what, fine. I'm going to teach you the best thing I can teach you. How to lose. And so that's kind of where it ends, where the Joker has all the money and all that shit. And it's really good. It's a really good book. I love this. I actually read this in like a day and a half. But surprisingly, my favorite story is Gunsmith, Afraid of America. Because the art is just so fucking cool. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that shit. I love that shit. That shit. Oh, I love that. It's so, like, dark and kind of, like, I don't know, just the type of colors that it has. It's just so good. So good. This book is fantastic. Oh, and I love how there's also there is a issue called Merlin in Hunters, which Green Arrow's in it.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole, like, it opens up with Green Arrow being like, why the fuck do you have the cape? And he's like, I like the cape. And he's like, yeah, but doesn't it take drag? And he's like, well, I like the cape. And the drag helps with, he said, I find that when the human body... I find that when the human body faces a challenge, it learns to compensate. It's called strength training. And then Green Arrow's just like, nice, whatever. And then Batman's just like, I like the cape.
He's such a dweeb.
I love him, but also like he uses it because he helps this girl that's trapped in this burning building, and he takes the cape and he wraps it around her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cape has use.
Cape always has use.
Of course.
It's a glider. It's protective, like fire retardant material. You can wrap a kid in it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like Batman. Batman saved me."
Oh my
Batman
gosh.
gets some candy, you know.
Yeah.
This whole point in DC Comics is so good, because we also have like Nightwing's whole series going on at the same time. That's so good, and like Superman, Son of Kal-El.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
There's a lot of good shit going on.
There's a lot of good shit. So yeah, I read that, and
nice.
yeah, Catwoman is fucking the hottest I've ever seen her in DC Comics. I swear.
Yes.
Oh, and Harley Quinn's in it too.
Yes.
And she's not bad looking either.
Harley is really cool these days.
Mm-hmm.
They work with her very well. She's so much fun being on the side of good, but she's still like fucking insane.
Speaking of Harley, one of the first episodes for the new
Harley
season
Quinn came out a couple days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I'm behind.
Yeah, it's got Nightwing in it.
I know. He wanted to kill himself.
Yes.
What have you been reading or watching or consuming up your butthole?
I read Marvel's. That big book over there.
Oh wow!
The normal trade size.
I haven't finished yet.
So I've read this book a couple of times. It's been like 2 years. I read it, I believe, on this show. It's written by Kurt Busiek and illustrated by Alex Ross. This is one of Alex Ross's first works with a major publisher. And I still think it's honestly one of his best. So basically, it's a look at the Marvel universe from the eyes of civilians from the Human Torch. The original Human Torch in the 30s all the way up until like the mid 70s, roughly.
Did you say the original Human Torch?
Yeah, the Human Torch before Johnny Storm. It was a whole thing. It was a robot. Yeah.
Oh, before Marvel's?
Technically, it was before Marvel was Marvel, but yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so it goes all the way back to...
I was wondering, it was like, this is like...
Yeah, it goes back to Human Torch, Namor, and Captain America back when it was... I don't even remember what the company was called back then. So the Invaders... the old school team, and it goes through them. It goes through the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Galactus, all sorts of crazy stuff. The mutants are done really well in this book. So it just goes over what it would feel like to be a normal person in the Marvel Universe if it was, like, you know, taken seriously to some extent or another. What it would be like, how the power dynamics would shift around, how the world would react, how companies would react. How can we make money off of these crazy people? How do people react? People are fickle. I think the thing in this book, which I really appreciate the most, was the fact that when the mutants start popping up out of nowhere, at the same time, while everyone is literally rioting and they're trying to kill mutants, they're terrified of them because they look different, they're weird, they don't understand them. At the same time, they're worshiping the Fantastic Four as celebrities.
I know.
And that's how the universe worked at the time. That's how it was in the 60s in the Marvel comics. It was this weird contradictory but isn't that how it is now? Whereas we put people up. It's
why are these guys normal compared to these guys?
Exactly. It's a lot of that. So it's a lot of
big fucking rock dude with no dick, and then you have a fire starter dude, and you have a woman that's invisible, but only when she can be naked or has that costume, and then you got this really fucking stretchy dude who can probably stretch his dick to be super long.
Oh my gosh. So it takes a very interesting approach to. So the main character is a photographer. And so he's constantly being around heroes, or as he calls them, Marvels. There's Marvels or the Marvels, and then which is everybody mutants basically, and then there's mutants, and it's just the way that they contrast him is he's thinking, so what if to get the Marvels, the photograph, what if the mutants are the negative of that? That's what we have to pay to have the Marvels. And it's just this really interesting dialogue he has with himself all the time.
You have to pay to have the Marvels? What do you mean?
Not pay, but this is what we have to deal with. It's for the A side of the Marvels. These great heroes who are fickle and they go back and forth in their allegiances all the time, but mostly people enjoy them. We worship them. We stare up at the sky. And then on the backside of that, we have to deal with mutants, these freaks. And who
are just trying to be people.
Exactly. And that's the thing that this book nails. And that's the thing that Jacob really liked about this book, because he's always been kind of fickle on X-Men books, because they can be kind of weird. But in this, it literally lays it all out. It's people are trying to genocide them. They're just random gangs of people running through the suburb. No, they wouldn't come here to the suburbs. We built the suburbs to be safe. Cough, cough from black people. That's it's the same thing. It's it's horrifying.
That's what I really like about X-Men. As much as I have a hard time finding stuff I like.
When it works, it works.
Yeah, because the X-Men, that's what probably makes me sad about them when they aren't used correctly, is because they are a great outlet for people of different color, people of different people of different ethnicities, people that come from outside of our normal atmosphere, and people with different sexualities too.
Yeah,
it's as much as you can disagree, you have a right to disagree with certain opinions, but that's ultimately their life.
Yeah, and
you can talk about things,
and that's
respectfully.
Thing. Yeah,
but you shouldn't see them as not people. That's what I really like about the X-Men.
And that's the thing, is because the Avengers are just a team. The Fantastic Four are a family, but they are a team. The X-Men are a team, sure, but they're a different species.
Yeah. They're not just heroes. They're not just people who got powers because of an accident or something they did on purpose or whatever abilities.
They were born like that.
They were literally born like
and
that.
And that's why it is. It's whenever, reading a rougher X-Men book or whatever, or when the movies are just not taking it that seriously, it's it has so much more baked into its DNA to use. The concept is inherently far more nuanced and has way more depth to it. And that's something that this does really, really well. Even the
Probably
photographer.
One of the best X-Men comics.
I wouldn't go that far. They're not in it as much as I would like. I would have liked more mutant stuff. But even the photographer, he even gets in on the right. He's I don't know what came over. He throws a brick at a child. Literally. As he doesn't, it's he gets caught up in the heat of the moment. He's I don't understand what's going on. I am scared and I don't know why I just did that. It goes over fear and paranoia really well. The art it's Alex Ross. It's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. It's fucking phenomenal.
The only gripe I have with his art, it's barely even a gripe, is sometimes it can be very stilted. He's really good at static poses, but the action is
I think
and that's fine.
You're not entirely wrong, But also, some of my favorite artists are like that.
Yeah,
Mike Mignola.
Yeah.
Look at that art.
Yeah, it's very static.
Yes, and I love static. I actually really do.
It's fine. It's one of the things, especially when there's a lot of overlapping panels and whatever. It's like these are insanely detailed stuff. Like the way he goes through, the way he does his art, he takes photographs. He does reference photos. He hires actors to perform roles for him, and then he like copies it over. And he's like a full cinematographer. Yeah, it's crazy, and he's been doing that his entire career.
That's so much
work. The amount of effort he puts in is disgusting. That is
literally so much work. So, I will not.
Yeah, no.
Look at me over there. I'm sitting on the floor. Yeah. The other day I'm sitting on the floor and I just have this. I'm like, I have a vague idea of what I'm doing. Let's just throw shit everywhere, and if it works, it works.
Yeah.
That's how fucking lazy I am, dude.
Yeah. I really, really appreciated the choice of setting. Going from the 30s all the way up to like the mid 70s, we see a lifespan of a person and his family. We get to see the different generations of heroes introduced and portrayed in a very way that's similar to the Golden and Silver Age. It wasn't just like now, if you read a current book from Marvel, if they're flashing back to that time period, they're probably not going to portray it as close to how it was originally. It's going to be modernized a little bit, and that's fine because Marvel has that stretchy continuity where everything takes place in a canonical timeline, but it doesn't really make sense how it works. Yeah, and that's fine. But they portray it is the Golden and Silver Age. It's just going over like the horrors and wonders of these characters, and it's so cool. The ending of him basically resigning to just living his life because like he's sold photos for decades trying to capture these heroes, and just the amount of drama that it ensues with all of the different parties trying to co-opt different heroes and the politics of it all and how fickle the heroes can be and how fickle the people are. He's just done with it after a while. He's like, screw it. I'm just gonna retire, basically. It's a really nice ending. It's just remembering to look up. Instead of focusing on the heroes and the action, it's remembering to look up and just look at the sky, basically.
Look up the sky and touch grass.
Basically, it is pretty much like this is all really cool, they're wonderful, but also don't get too into it, and remember to like have a life and have your like live with your kids, basically. It's really cool. So I bought this at Bull Moose for $9. Absolute steal. I would pay so much money for this book. It's not even funny. It's originally 5 issues, and it came out in 1994. Really good. And then, little aside, the intro to the book is like a few pages it's from the Human Torch's perspective of being made. He's a synthetic human.
I've never heard about that, actually. I've never heard about the original Human Torch.
Yeah, he's been dropped a long time ago, but it's a really interesting. It uses a lot of dialogue and framing from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and the art I think is honestly at its best there. The contrast between the light and the dark and the flame and the underground that he has to live in when he's like stored away, basically. Really, really cool stuff. And it gives you just a little taste of what it might be like to be one of these heroes, one of these Marvels, before sending you into the perspective of the people. And I think it really, really helps with that. This is genuinely, like, if there's a Criterion collection for comics, this is in it. You know, the Criterion collection for movies, it's like
I've never heard of that.
It's like the best movies ever.
Oh, yeah, then I'd put that in there.
Yeah, no, it's like, if you could only have 100 comics that someone has to write, this is on that list.
Oh, for you?
Yeah, like, this is like, yeah, there's criticisms to be made. I'm not going to read it all the time, but like, this is like a masterpiece of work.
I should make a list.
Big steal. Much nice. You know what else is a steal?
What's that?
All the benefits that Jeff Lawrence gets by being one of our patrons over at patreon.com/dimecomicbros. He gets his name shouted at every episode. We follow him on social media. He gets free clout. He got a sketch from Collin.
He's gonna see me today.
Yeah, well, you can't buy our affection that much. Collin is just cheap.
I'm a little slut.
Yeah, you are. Also get lots of exclusive content like clips and segments from this show, as well as Dime Gaming Bros, which is our other podcast where Jacob and I go over video games and video game stuff. Yes. Get all sorts of stuff that we just pull out because it's like real weird.
Because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
Yeah, sometimes we just...
Fuckers.
Sometimes we just go on weird diatribes. Sometimes it's very not safe for work. Not like this podcast is safe for work anyways, but it's like the extra spicy stuff goes on Patreon, as well as our other podcast, Dime Comic Bros Happy Hour, where we just kind of sit and chill for a little bit after recording Dime Comic Bros. We have a drink, we have maybe a discussion point, we talk about random stuff. Very fun.
Pizza pies.
And you also, yes, pizza pies. And you also get to listen to all of our podcasts a couple of days early. So go check it out. If you wouldn't mind, or if you are capable of supporting us, it would be greatly appreciated.
You probably should.
If you can.
You should.
But if you're not, we're also poor, so we get it.
Well, I don't care.
Also, go support our partners over at Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. They have comics, they have games, they have D&D, they have Magic cards, they have Pokemon cards, they might have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Maybe sometimes they'll get Beyblades in there. They got Pokemans, they got plushies, they got action figures, figurines, dice.
Oh, and don't forget comics.
Actual comics, yes. Lots and lots and lots of stuff.
Oh, and bullying. Kyle, I'm talking to you.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, so yesterday, Jacob and I went on this year's annual Jetpack Booze Cruise. Last year, it was landlocked because the boat didn't work. So we just all hung out at a bar, basically. But this year, it was very nice. It was very, very hot. So Jacob and I went out on the boat with everybody. Nice. It was an open event, but it was mostly, it was Jetpack employees, friends of Jetpack employees.
You had to be invited to go. It wasn't an open event.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's on the website.
I don't think so.
No, you just had to buy a ticket.
Oh,
it just wasn't like a highly advertised thing.
Okay, no.
It was a limited count of people. It was like definitely like 50 people tops. Definitely Ralph and his friends. It seems like because last year this was Ralph's idea, of course. He really wanted to go on a boat. And he was very upset last year that we got landlocked. So this year he was having a blast. He was very silly. So that was really fun. Big shout out to them for having a really cool event that we got to go to. Collin was being responsible and going to work for once.
Yeah.
Lame. So that was really fun. So thanks for that. And next week, Jacob will be with us.
Hopefully.
Physically, not just in spirit. We got She-Hulk coming up pretty soon in a few weeks.
Yeah,
not next week, but
I'm
it's
so excited
2 or
for
3 weeks from now.
Muscle
Oh my gosh, stop.
What?
A couple of weeks from now. And also, I get to drop this now just as a prelude. Jacob is going to be going on the Geek Gossip podcast in a couple of months.
Jacob is?
Yes. When She-Hulk is done and over, they're going to review the whole show together. So, one, go give them some love. They're just another podcast in the area. They do lots of content like ours. They're also supported by Jetpack. And when that comes out, we'll be sure to plug it and go give it a listen.
I'm gonna fucking...
One day you're gonna send a shit rocket through your pants, and I will.
I've done that already.
I will promptly return it into your mouth and kill you. Jacob, we're clearly waiting for the mini fridge to stop humming, so definitely trim like all of this out.
My penis is out and about. The fuck? I don't know. Just thought it would be funny.